In this country, people must be in love with Eden Hazard.
Eden Hazard! Magical!
Deep defending and then giving the ball to Eden Hazard. Wow.
And Hazard changing gear! Beauty!
Probably the best player in the Premier League right now.
Eden Hazard has gone for goal and scored.
He's matured as a player.
So how did it all go so wrong? How did he become a forgotten man on the sidelines? His dream move to Real Madrid turning into a waking nightmare. This is the tragic story of a king who became a calamity. Let's rewind, not to London, but to the north of France, with a club called Lille. This is where a brilliant Belgian teenager with a cheeky smile and impossibly quick feet started making a name for himself. Even back then, you could see the magic. Hazard's childhood idol, Zinedine Zidane, famously said he'd take the young winger to Real Madrid with his eyes closed. At Lille, Hazard wasn't just a good prospect, he was a phenomenon. He didn't just win the Ligue 1 Young Player of the Year award, he became the first player to ever win it twice. He finished his time in France by dragging Lille to a historic League and Cup double in the 2010-11 season, which also won him the Ligue 1 Player of the Year award. In over 190 appearances, he racked up 50 goals, but his impact went way beyond the numbers. Europe's biggest clubs were all desperate to sign him, and in the summer of 2012, he made his decision. For a reported £32 million, Eden Hazard was heading to Chelsea. From the second he stepped onto the pitch at Stamford Bridge, it was obvious he was on another level. In his first Premier League season, he notched 9 goals and 11 assists, immediately becoming the team's creative engine. He had this insane low centre of gravity that let him glide past defenders like they weren't even there. He didn't just beat players, he danced around them, inviting them to make a challenge he knew he could evade. He once said, "Often, a dribble brings more joy than a goal. People want the show, they pay for it. You're an actor." And what a show he put on. In the 2014-15 season, he was simply unstoppable. He scored 14 league goals and carried Chelsea to their first Premier League title in 5 years. Everyone knew he was a genius, and he swept the individual awards. PFA Players Player of the Year, FWA Footballer of the Year, and Premier League Player of the Season. He was the undisputed king of English football. Over 7 seasons, his legacy just kept growing. Another Premier League title in 2017, an FA Cup in 2018, where he scored the winning goal in the final, and 2 Europa League trophies. He scored 110 goals and provided 92 assists in 352 games for the club. But he was more than just stats. He was the moments of pure magic. That breathtaking solo goal against Arsenal, the mesmerising run against West Ham, and the Battle of the Bridge equaliser against Tottenham, the 2 goals in the 2019 Europa League final to clinch one last trophy. He left a legend. And then came the summer of 2019, the moment that changed everything. This was the move he'd dreamed about since he was a kid, plastering posters of Zidane on his wall. The transfer was massive, a deal with an initial fee of around €100 million that could rise to well over €140 million with add-ons, making him one of the most expensive players ever. He was handed the iconic number 7 shirt, the one worn by Cristiano Ronaldo. The pressure was unbelievable, but this was supposed to be his destiny. But the dream started to crack almost immediately. The king had arrived in his new kingdom, but the throne was already starting to wobble.
If you're finding this story as compelling as we do, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the most iconic stories in football. Hazard's season was horrifically derailed in a Champions League match against Paris Saint-Germain. A challenge from his Belgian teammate Thomas Meunier led to a fractured ankle. That one injury would kickstart a vicious cycle that defined his entire Madrid career. He had surgery, a metal plate was put in his ankle, and the nightmare began. He rushed his recovery, but the pain never really went away. The plate caused infections. His body, once so tough and resilient, just started falling apart. To compensate for the bad ankle, other muscles got strained. The 2020-21 season was even worse. He suffered a shocking 7 different injuries, missing more than 30 games. In his first 2 seasons in Spain, he missed around 59 games due to injury. To put that in perspective, he missed only 21 matches in his entire 7-year, 352-game career at Chelsea. The player who was fouled more than anyone in England, who always just bounced right back up, was now made of glass. The physical breakdown was matched by a total collapse in form and confidence. He was a ghost of the player who had terrorized Premier League defenses. That explosive burst of speed was gone. The swagger to take on 3 or 4 defenders had completely vanished. In 76 appearances for Real Madrid, he scored just 7 goals and had 12 assists. Those numbers are a whisper compared to the roar of his stats at Chelsea. While he was stuck on the treatment table, the world kept spinning. A young, electrifying Brazilian named Vinicius Jr. grabbed the left wing spot and made it his own. Hazard, the 9-figure superstar, became a bench warmer. He collected a bunch of winners' medals, including 2 La Liga titles and a Champions League, but he was a background character. It all led to the humiliating tag of being one of the worst, if not the worst signings in the history of Real Madrid. But the lowest point came in 2021. After Madrid was knocked out of the Champions League by his old club Chelsea, cameras caught Hazard laughing and joking with his former teammates on the pitch. For Madrid fans and the media, it was the ultimate betrayal. It looked like he just didn't care. He apologized, but the damage was done. In October 2023, at just 32 years old, Eden Hazard announced he was retiring from professional football. In his own words, the decision was simple. He said, "I had always said that I would stop as soon as I didn't have fun on the pitch anymore. I didn't want to go and play somewhere for the money. I didn't enjoy training anymore, and I wasn't playing anymore." The joy, the entire foundation of his game, was gone. So what is Eden Hazard's legacy? It's a career of 2 completely different chapters. In England, he's a Premier League legend and a Chelsea icon, no question about it. For many, he's the most talented player to ever grace the pitch at Stamford Bridge, a genius who delivered endless moments of joy. He is remembered as a king, but his time in Madrid will always cast a dark shadow. It brings up the great unanswerable what if? What if he'd never left Chelsea? What if that tackle from Meunier never happened? Would we be talking about him today as a Ballon d'Or winner?